Lord save me, this headache won't go away. Herbert's 100 harem. You know there is the possibility of bilocating with axiom effects, right? Jalassi asked him. The interrogation had gone perfectly and had ended with a happy Gina heading home with a belly full of pastry and warm cider, an assurance that her life was soon to get better, and the smug satisfaction that she had done everything in her power to hit back against the people that had conned her so long ago. Yes, but such ability is either so obvious that even the average citizen will know something is up, or the sign of an extremely potent adept, which is very rare and would narrow our suspect list to roughly 100,000 individuals across Centrus, not including the ones directly in the employ of the Undaunted. Herbert replies. The information of the specific times, no less than 8 very specific times Gina clearly remembers due to the events surrounding them, meant they just had to narrow things down in a society where cameras were everywhere, where the only place and time you could be sure you weren't being recorded was if you swept the area yourself and turned off or destroyed any camera you could find. And even then, some could see through some kinds of walls and didn't need a clear line of sight. The problem wasn't figuring out where everyone was, it was narrowing down the sheer number of people, which numerous powerful computers, synths, and data crunchers, or some who were all three, were working on even now. And if it is a potent adept, Jalassi asks, well, this is a very serious situation, which means that it likely wouldn't take much persuasion for one of the most potent adepts on the planet to take a break from her current duties and press down on such a possible threat. You're considering asking Lady Basilash to interfere personally? Again? Yes. She interfered because billions of lives were on the line. And if we find and spook an adept skilled enough to be in 2 places at once, without cluing in the people around them that they're using Axiom, who has access to and knowledge of how to use blood metal on a scale never before seen in the galaxy, in one of its most densely overpopulated planets. I dare say billions or trillions will be a conservative casualty estimation, Herbert says. Right, that is a very good point. I'm glad you agree, Aber says as he cracks his neck. What about the question I posed to our team when I left to aid in investigations? What are our solutions for the disposal of the blood metal? We do not understand blood metal sufficiently to dispose of it without a guarantee of no negative side effects. It's just too rare and unknown. We have determined it would be best if we were to divide up the metal and have the pieces researched at different facilities that only sporadically have contact with each other. That would slow research if there's only a minimum of collaboration, Herbert muses. But that's the downside of security. We know blood metal can actively pull apart axiom constructs and create them like a combination of much more vicious tritite and kutha. But it doesn't stop there. It actively takes the axiom it disrupts into itself to further empower its own effects. It eats it, Herbert says. A bit overdramatic, but that is a good summation. That fear effect, though, that's new. It is. Beyond what it does to axiom and the newly discovered fear effect, it is also known to make people uneasy to look at it, but not in any way that's easily explained. Could that simply be a lesser version of the fear effect? Or rather, perhaps the fear effect is the uneasiness temporarily taken to an extreme, Herbert asks as he rubs the side of his head. Everything is happening at once and more is coming. He has been trained for this, but training for it and being in the fire are entirely different. He then straightens up and focuses his gaze. He will meet this challenge, for he is undaunted. He will live up to the code as best he can. He can take it. This is just training for next time, and next time this will be easy. He then mentally deflates a little as he's hyping himself up at entirely the wrong moment. This isn't the action. Lead the troops through the trenches time. This is the waiting time. No matter how infuriating that waiting may be, he needs to grow up, possibly literally as he has too much energy right when he needs to be calm. It's like hearing the whistle, he mutters to himself in frustration. The whistle? Jalassi asks. It's an effect in old shows to show something is falling. A declining whistle, he says before mimicking the whistle, often used to show a bomb is coming in a comedy show. Right now I can practically hear the bomb falling, but I can't do anything but wait for it to impact. And with how much energy my younger body has, it's driving me to distraction. You're not comfortable being so small? I'm rolling with a bad situation. If it were my choice, if I could truly choose, I would be in my late 20s at least. The size and strength I had at that age was nice. Also this, he gestures to his face. Jalassi cannot find any flaw. The young man looks immaculate and seems to have walked out of a woman's dream about younger men. This is a problem. It's too distracting, too much an attention getter. When puberty hits, the good looks are thankfully lost. You don't like looking good? Too much attention. If I need to charm someone, that's what talking to them and being charming is about. But if people are charmed at the first sight of me, then I get far, far too much attention. Men already stand out a lot. An incredibly good-looking little boy just at the edge of becoming a man? That's dangerous, he says. Not only am I borderline hyper, but I'm as literal as jailbait can be without someone leaving a trail of candy into a cell. You are the candy that leads into the cell with that sweet voice, my friend. That's the point. I'm supposed to be subtle and composed, but I'm obvious and hyper. I hate being a kid, he exclaims before huffing. Sharing an obvious frustration with her ought to open her up a little more. And no one's looked into ways of quickly aging as, by our perspective, it happens soon enough anyways. Jalissa remarks in a distinctly amused tone, and it worked. Right, I'm going to do something while we wait for results. I'm going to vibrate through the floor plating and down to the bottom of the spire if I don't, Herbert says before starting to head out of the room. I'm under orders to be near you when you're not performing field duties, Jalassi says, and Herbert freezes and looks back. Surely the tri-tight lady has experienced situations like this before. The exact details are of course different, but yes, the real concern is humanity. You've been in the galaxy for just shy of a year, as in a few more days, and it will have been a single year. Lady Basilash is concerned about so young, so vibrant, and so reckless a people shattering themselves like prop glass. Prop glass, a special, easily broken glass that is used for props in movies and plays. It even breaks in a rounded manner so that if it lands on someone or is stepped upon, it doesn't lacerate. She explains and he considers. That's kind of her. By why me in specific? You're one of the most unusual humans there are. You're not some prodigy adept, but you have tasted one of the greatest gifts of the galaxy in excess. You have excelled, proven yourself, and been knocked down again and again. Literally. There are concerns. She says, and he considers that. I see. Well then, I was planning on changing into more exercise, appropriate clothing, then entering a hollow chamber to exercise and burn off my excess energy. Nothing to be concerned about. I see. Do you mind if you're watched? I do, but if you were to join me instead, Lady Nagasha, and... Herbert begins before his communicator starts going off. Oh, thank God there's physical work to do. Excuse me? I'll pass your thanks to my lady. Not that God. Which one then? She asks in a cheeky tone. The all-loving creator who was there before a single light in the sky was formed? Oh, her? Okay, she teases. You know what I mean, you cheeky woman, Herbert says back in a cheery tone. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to... His communicator goes off again and he looks at it before his eyes widen. Oh, what? They're here, slightly ahead of schedule, Herbert says. Excuse me. Primary communications package sent, awaiting response, the communications officer says on the bridge. Sir, intelligence operative Jameson present and accounted for, Herbert says as he rushes into the bridge without looking like he's rushing. He takes up his position beside Admiral's cistern before holding up a mug of coffee on a platter. Need this, sir? I've got so much in me that I need to let my blood water it down a little. Admiral Cistern states. That wasn't a no, Herbert says before Admiral Cistern takes it. No, I just want it noted that I'm more coffee than human at this point, he states. A new type of aeromentus, sir? Congratulations for siring a species? Herbert jokes and gets a huff of amusement. Perhaps not. The odds are going every which way about this. Where do you place your own odds? My bet is on us, sir. I'm ready. I've been ready for a month. Sir Philip's last true assignment to me before departing was to come up with all possible scenarios of the Inevitable's mission and proper responses to each. We have this, sir. No matter what they're bringing, we have the legal right, the monetary, military, and numbers advantage in every way. They cannot defeat us. It's not victory or defeat that has me concerned, Herbert. What has me concerned is the aftermath, the consequences, the further-reaching effects. I know. I just need you to know that I'm guaranteeing you will be there to make those choices, Herbert says. Thank you. How are your investigations going? We've reached the hurry up and wait part. We're narrowing our suspect list significantly. But this is a system where having a list hundreds of trillions long is considered small. Thankfully, it shouldn't take more than a few hours, Herbert says. Good. And the active combat going on? Admiral Cistern inquires. Light, mostly skirmishes and distractions, until police can swoop in and saturate the area with stun cannons, Herbert says. I was about to join a relatively close hot zone that just flared up when I received news of the Inevitables data package. It seems that the spell Lady Bazalish and Rakaxa spun is starting to fray ever so slightly. Well, it bought us precious time and we got a good grip on things. Admiral Cistern notes, Sir, the package is decompressed and has accepted all codes. Text files only, on screen now, the communications officer says before a screen full of gibberish appears. Hang on, running it through our decryption. Why are they so paranoid about this? Herbert wonders out loud before the message decodes. Ah, so, they're coming to render judgment, Admiral Cistern notes. Send them the return package and also inform them that a political firestorm is currently active on this world. Proper greetings shall be coming soon once we have established a stable video and audio link. Well, things are ominous to begin with. Their main communications array must be having some difficulties, or they're currently speaking with the nearby cordon fleet that stops people from blundering into cruel space from the big laneways that lead into it as they converge. Herbert remarks, Sir, we have a text response from the Inevitable, the communications officer says. Read it out, officer, Admiral Cistern states. It's from Madame Anastasia Stepanova, sir. She is on the Inevitable with several other distinguished individuals and looks forward to working with us. Distinguished individuals has quotation marks around it, sir, the officer says. Well, that's not ominous, not at all, Herbert notes. Thankfully, she's going to be most concerned with your department over any other, which means I get my hands clean. Admiral Cistern teases him. Sir, you betray me, Herbert says dramatically. Poppycock, I'm merely saving myself from a witch by pointing out her favorite prey, an innocent child. As innocent as a fox in a henhouse, sir, Herbert dismisses. Sir, we have open contact with the Inevitable. On screen, Admiral Cistern states, and he comes face to face with his opposite.